Lund Boats proudly presents the ultimate fishing experience. This week on Lund's The Ultimate Fishing Experience, we're going with the flow. Rivers are diverse, reflecting the terrain it flows through. There's also different species of fish that each river can sustain, from high mountain trout rivers to sand gravel walleye and smallmouth bass rivers, all the way to slow meandering cat rivers. Floating down a lazy river, scanning from one bank to the other, one may not believe this could possibly be true. But hidden below the thin veil of its rippled surface, or tucked deep within its woody shelter, fish abound. With the right lure, making the right cast, rivers often reveal its true treasures it holds below.
Yeah. Just catch everyone you see with that thing. River bass, man, about as good as it gets. Yeah, skinny water. All right, Kyle, last stick.
All right.
Hey guys, Ryan DeChaine and Kyle Peterson from Wired to Fish, and we're up here in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, our headquarters office. We're pretty fortunate to be from northern Minnesota. In our county alone, we have over 1,000 lakes and the Mississippi River, but small to mid-sized rivers abound throughout the United States, and oftentimes they provide for some of the best fishing you can find. So today we're gonna slip down on some of Kyle's water where he's been poking some nice smallmouth bass, a few walleye, and even a muskie, and see what we can come up with.
Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
So we're in early August right now, but what we're doing on the water today is gonna work for you anytime during the warm water months, say June through September. But we have real low water levels, which is kind of a unique scenario on this particular stretch of river. We haven't fished it that much under these conditions, so we have to pay particular attention to how we run the boat a little bit to make sure we're safe. And the shallow water also sets up well for some presentation specifics that Kyle can talk about a little bit.
Yeah, it's real fun. Like he was saying, the low water, you can see fish. We'll be able to sight fish some of these smallmouth. We'll be throwing some top waters, I'm sure, right away in the morning here. And then we've been messing around with some plastics, kind of some Finesse plastics that are pretty cool.
Summertime, fish are at peak metabolism. Water temperature is as warm as it's gonna get. We're gonna be in that 75 to 80 degree range, where in this part of the country, that's warm. You can take a look up to the bank right there where I just cast, and you can see a lot of exposed mud. Water's really down. It's real low water for this particular stretch of river. And what that does is it really makes topwater an effective way to catch fish. The fish don't have much vertical distance in the water, so if you can fish a lure that opens up their strike window by making surface commotion, that's just a real good way to start and try to move some fish. Once you find out where some fish are, then you can slow down if they're not responding to it. But Kyle and I usually like to start with topwater baits down here on the river, and especially in skinny water like this. So you can almost fish that other side, Kyle, if I back us off a little. So
yeah, you could if you wanted
that's
to,
an interesting,
if you were a nice guy.
You know, boat positioning can be a pretty critical thing on the river. And right now I have the boat absolutely perpendicular to the bank, and I'm floating down the middle of the river. And what that allows us to do, given the size of this river, is one guy fishes one side and another guy fishes the other side, so we can break it down and try to find a nice wad of fish. So Kyle's thoroughly working that end right now, and I'm covering this side with the top water, and we're just drifting downstream.
He's actually being a nice guy, not just pointing the boat straight down and getting first crack at every single thing.
Oh,
I got one following me. You see the old prop marks? Whack, whack, whack.
Center river there, that's a dangerous one.
Yeah.
Put a waypoint on that hazard. Places to avoid in shallow, clean water like this lets you see everything that's down there. So it's a good time to mark hazards. Ooh,
There you go.
Oh, wow. Kyle, right here, if you throw that Ned rig right off my bow. Right here, big one. Ooh, he's gonna bite you.
There he is.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Yeah, that rig is something else.
Ryan finds them and come in with a little plastic and
There's your 1-2 punch here.
yeah.
Gone are the days of exclusively dragging around live bait or trolling crankbaits for walleye. Today's savvy walleye anglers use a host of artificial lures to trigger these predator fish. Finesse swim baits rigged on a simple ball head jig is deadly at triggering bites. Today, I happen to be targeting post-spawn fish on rocky points and Main Lake reefs. My Lowrance HDS Carbon combines side imaging, downscan imaging, chirp sonar, and real-time underwater 3D mapping to define the structure and presence of fish like never before. Waypoint quality fish signatures, then return to the area, maintaining some standoff distance. Fire out long casts to the target location, letting the jig swimbait combo sink to the bottom. Then initiate an aggressive hopping retrieve. Bites usually come on the fall, so use a sensitive rod and watch your line for the slightest change between rips.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly.
Yeah, that rig is something else.
Ryan finds them and come in with a little plastic and
There's your 1-2 punch here.
yeah.
Yep, Chinese fire drill.
Nice one too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You
You get
know?
to see it. It's such a visual thing, and with the low water, it's the only way that this could be possible.
But to have them right in the boat in clean water and they just can't resist that rig.
No, they really like it. I do love the way they fight. They are tough buggers in the river. Yeah. Well, thanks, Ryan.
You bet, I'm fine with that, Kyle. I'd just like to see one of us get hooked up.
Yeah.
Your rig has been the secret one here lately that's really been producing.
All right, so you can see this rig has slid up my rod a little bit, but that's a nice river smallmouth there, Ryan. He wanted the frog, but you can see that Nico hook has got him right in the top. And that hook right there has gotten a lot of attention lately, for good reason. It once you pin them with it, they usually come to the boat.
So when I go to the river, I like to catch fish on top. I'm fine catching less fish just to get that blow up bite. Sometimes they want it on top, but other times they want something more subtle and on the bottom, like what Kyle has, that little stick bait, that Finesse TRD. I think a lot of times when fish are in a negative to neutral mood, they actually prefer something super subtle that's natural in their environment, that isn't making a ton of noise, that doesn't have internal rattles, that just exists like a real subtle, minnow or invertebrate, something, just on the bottom.
All right, so this is the 16th ounce. This sticks right into the back of this Finesse TRD, and I'm putting it in the blunt end because that's going to be the bottom. That's going to be the side that rides the bottom. It's a little more tapered on this side. This allows it to slip through the cover, through the wood. Taking my 1/0 Nico hook, and I'll run it through there. Run that up flush. Basically, I'm just Texas rigging this Nico hook right into this little stick bait. It ends up being a real finesse presentation that I can pull through the weeds, rocks, wood, anything. Can throw it anywhere. I was thinking about it one night, and I'm like, "Gal, how can I use this on the river?" And this is kind of what I came up with. I'm able to fish it, like I had said earlier, pretty much anywhere. I can throw this thing in grass, I can throw it in wood. With the nature of it, this stands up because it's weighted from the bottom, and I can let that river current just kind of take it down the river, and it just, I don't know what it looks like, if it looks like a crayfish or a minnow just dimpling across the bottom, but the fish have a hard time saying no to it. That's what I've learned. There you go. Another one. Oh.
Size?
Oh, not as big as the last one, but
Let me know if he's got any buddies.
He probably does. He's a scrappy one.
He
So
usually got some buddies.
I'll take anything I can get at this moment. Oh, they are pretty in here. Look at him. Hanging around these log jams. See, Ryan threw right up on that log jam with that frog. He can work it right down those fish are positioned upriver. That frog is coming right in front of their face. we might have problems here.
I think he actually came up to get a look at that rod. He wants to check out that rod you're using.
Yeah. Is Darth Vader in the boat? There we go. Back to normal. Nice, pretty smallmouth. They really truly don't get old. Doesn't look like much, but to a fish, I guess it does. Girl, back into your home.
So I just switched up to a little jerk bait. I got a Rapala ripstop on right now. But in general, a good way to break down these rivers and figure out what's working best is to have one guy on a more of a vertical bait, like Kyle fishing that little Ned rig Nico style down around bottom in trees, and then I'm fishing a horizontal bait. So one vertical, one horizontal, one more aggressive, which is going to be a horizontal bait, and one more finesse, and the fish will tell you what they prefer on any given day. In the river, you can rifle through your tackle box, and that's a lot of the fun, is fishing baits you want to fish to get bit on, experimenting, and you can sometimes find something that simply triggers bites better than anything else. We've been real fortunate at Wired to Fish to be able to own and then spend a lot of time fishing out of Lund's various bass boats. The model we're fishing out of today is the 1875 Lund Renegade, which has a modified V-hull. What that gives you is a little bit more comfort in real skinny water like we're fishing today. We're on a river system and the water's really low, but we can come out here with a decent sized motor and run it safely. So it's a very versatile hull for smaller bodies of water, slipping into the backcountry, those types of environments.
I'm in the back of the boat, and this has got a nice wide beam. It's a real stable boat. As it's got a lot of storage in it. It holds 8 rods up in the rod box. It's got on-the-go storage as well. We come prepared with a lot of different tackle, and we've got storage for all of that. We've got a live well up in the front, a live well right under my feet here. I've got my own plastics, hooks, everything I need right here. I don't have to go up in the front. It's a great boat for smaller bodies of water, but we can also take it onto a little bigger body of water and fish it real comfortably.
The nice thing about the Lund Renegade line is it comes in a 1775 and an 1875 model. So good sizes depending on your needs. And you can power the 1775 with a 90 horse or the, there we go, or the 1875 with a 115. You're not compromising performance with either of those engines. It lets you get from A to B really quickly, which in the case of today on the river, we had a pretty good run to get out here. So it's not slow going. We move pretty good. We were running comfortably over 40 miles an hour.
Nice
we
one.
actually rigged this one with a hydraulic jack plate. So we have a TH Atlas, which even gives us a little bit more shallow water, safe running with that motor. Nice bass. I switched up from that jerkbait to a little top water, and look what I caught, huh? X-Wrap prop produced. Skinny water. It's the beauty of the top water, is just being able to call fish from a ways away. That's a pretty one there. That's all right, bud?
That works.
If you take a look behind Kyle and I here, we're powering our Renegade with a 115 Mercury Pro XS. And this motor is the perfect combination with this boat. It has kind of that Mercury Racing, that Pro XS DNA. It's a real high output, lightweight engine. So you get really good performance out of a boat like this. And we've paired this motor with a 4-blade Mercury Trophy Plus prop. It's actually a 17 pitch. And the nice thing about a 4-blade is it creates more friction with the water. So what you get from that is faster hole shots, and the boat stays more level getting on plane. In addition to the performance of the engine, We also get better shallow water performance with the TH Marine Atlas jack plate, and what that provides us is 6 inches of additional vertical lift. So I get better shallow water running performance, and great fuel economy as well as performance.
Oh, sweet. What? Right on the bank. I threw it on, I literally threw this bait onto the bank, and I watched him from about 10 feet downriver come roaring upriver, and I just pulled it off the bank, and he saw it. It's amazing how aware these fish are in the river. They know what is going on. Even with the current and everything, even a little bait like this. Look at, he's puking up crayfish. See the orange? That's part of the reason, look at him, he's puking up all kinds of crayfish. Part of the reason I kind of went with this color. That's a nice fish. We'll get you. We'll get you. There you go. Jeez. So that's about my 3rd or 4th fish on this thing. You can see my half moon still intact. I can slide this whole rig right back down to the hook and fish it again and get this girl back.
Oh.
Ryan's got one too.
Sweet. So we just saw a couple fish. There's another nice one there. I'm gonna go ahead and hit spot lock.
Big one.
And that tool right there, the Minn Kota Ultrex, has been a game changer for us. Fishing lakes, but in rivers too. Almost especially in rivers. You can see the trolling motor right now. It's literally taking control of the boat. It's got a GPS in the head, and it's gonna pin me to this spot. It's simple. You just hit a button and you don't move.
Cool.
It's a stocky one.
It is a stocky one, isn't it? Get him up here, see if he can. Smallmouth on steroids when they live in the river. Wow, that's nice. A nice one. Nice, pretty smallmouth. Look at that. Yeah, I'd like to go in on top water, but it's hard to put that thing down. Such a beautiful area too.
In the middle of the woods, flowing downstream. It's as good as it gets.
One of the most enjoyable aspects of bass fishing is the sheer excitement of action, and one of the best producing baits out there is the Jean Leroux hardhead jig rigged with the biffle bug. Think of it as a weedless crankbait. It's designed to be straight reeled and bounce through hard bottom areas much like a crankbait, only it fishes clean through cover with its single offset hook. Locate hard bottom areas on your graph using side imaging, then start fan casting the area. Drop the talons or spot lock once you get bit, then repeat the exact same cast. Chances are you fired up a school. Allowing your shallow water anchors or Minn Kota's GPS-enabled spot lock to pin your boat in place allows you to focus on fishing. Here's a tip. Reel the hard head jig system as fast as you can while maintaining bottom contact and hang on.
There's a nice one. Nice fish. This is what we came out here this morning for.
It's amazing how much smallmouth will move in the river.
Cover tons of ground.
They do, and it's crazy.
Look at that guy, Kyle. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Try and catch every single one of them. Look at this, look at this, look at this.
You caught that fish?
Yeah.
Just catch every one you see with that thing.
Catch every one you see.
That's pretty cool. I just caught this stick that I saw.
You literally can catch every one you see.
Oh. Is it really fair? That should be outlawed.
This thing definitely is. They turn on it and all of a sudden they just eat it. The boat did float right over this top. There was a big log sitting in the river and Ryan goes, wow, look at that nice smallmouth. And I had to wait for the boat to float over the top of him, and I saw him poke out the one side of the log. So I went and flipped right out upriver from him and let this bait just come right down past him. And he looked at it and nosed down at it and he just ate it. So it's pretty neat in here. Having good glasses too helps a lot. With good polarized glasses is nice for being able to see everything, rocks, logs, all that good stuff, and the fish, of course. That's a pretty one. He's got good markings.
Yeah.
They're all pretty, right?
Look at that smallmouth
He's
sitting
sitting
right
there.
there. So this is one of the benefits of low water, guys, is you can see the cover that the fish live on throughout the year. And right in front of me, there's a nice big smallmouth right there, and he was sitting on this old stump. So I'm just gonna come right over the top of it, literally, and I have an internal GPS in this hook 9, and I'm just gonna mark a waypoint. So now I have a good waypoint marking that. I know there's something there that could be a hazard that I'll avoid when I'm going upriver. And if it's a hazard, it's also gonna be a good fish holding spot. So I'll avoid this spot while I'm running, and then also pay attention to this spot when we're drifting back down and make sure we cast to that general area. The cool thing about rivers is how dynamic they are too. Year to year, the banks really change. Erosion really changes the cover available. You know, next year these trees could be washed out from ice flows and from high water. This year, this is just a terrific spot with a pile of laydowns and a great place to hold fish. Walleye, pike, bass, suckers, you name it. That makes it enjoyable for a fisherman to just come and read the water, and it's never the same. Look at that other one, Kyle.
Uh-oh. Right there, here,
Yeah,
I got it.
here, I'll just keep them here for you.
You're just
bud.
gonna hold them for me?
Hurry up.
All right, I'm hurrying. Oh, I see him.
They're more interested in this.
Got him. Got him.
Why do we like river fishing?
That's why.
I don't think I need to say anything more. I'm done talking.
Ryan gets a pack of them coming to the boat, and I'll come in and drop right behind them, and doubles. Here's a pair.
River bass, man, about as good as it gets.
Yeah, skinny water.
From our vantage point here at Wired to Fish, rivers continue to be underutilized around the country, and particularly where you got a lot of lake options. People just seem to be more comfortable on lakes. But if you're rigged with the right boat, literally rivers will get you away from people and provide some of the absolute best fishing opportunities that exist throughout the country, and for tremendous quality of fish, numbers and size. Rivers are where it's at, all scene set in the middle of the woods, flowing downstream. It's as good as it gets.
I'll try and keep him. There he comes. Look at him, look at him. Eat it, eat it. Oh, that was so close.
Sometimes you can get them in the lather by actually slamming it down.
You almost had him too.
Yeah.
Darn. Low water, you don't get the opportunity to see. It's so visual, and I keep saying that because it's so much fun. You got one?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you had one. Open up, buddy. There we go. Nice.
Here we go, nice one, man. Big one. There's what we're looking for, guys, yeah. I'm gonna definitely hold this here. Kyle's gotta, look at him. Yeah. Gorgeous, gorgeous. This is what really does it for Kyle and I, when it comes to river fishing. The quality of the fish that you can consistently catch is tough to beat. The fitness, the toughness of the fish is tough to beat, and the overall beauty of the surroundings make it a day that's tough to beat. That's a nice smallmouth bass. And we're gonna keep catching them.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like more information, check out lundboats.com or these other online outlets.